everybody. Thank you for coming today and joining us. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. Today we're going to be talking about changes and what you guys think about if people can change or not. So what do you guys think?
Yes, I think people can change just if they figure out that their life can be better. It doesn't matter like what they've done in their past. It could have been really bad, but that doesn't mean they should be judged for that and that they can't actually turn into better people because they didn't know any better. And if they genuinely actually want to change, they can become better people.
Yeah, I agree with Dani. If you make a decision to change and it's like, this is it for me, like there's no plan B, like I'm going to change and I'm not going to continue to do that, whatever it is, or then I believe that someone can change.
I think it's important to also look within and ask ourselves why we want to change or why we're making these changes. Like, are we changing the way we dress to please, a certain group of people, or is it really for ourselves? Are we changing the way we eat to look a certain way? So I think it's also important to look at the motive of our hearts when we make these changes and why we're making these changes.
Yeah. All about the intentions of the heart, of what's motivating, like you said, like the motives inside. It's really if you want to please someone where you're doing it, or if you want to do it for like yourself. Right. Like many people tend to change, like if your friend is changing, like they'll change with you because they always want to be inside of the eye of another person and always want to like, in Spanish we say like complacerle.
Yeah.
We always want to please people and like make them like us for what we do. So like in like personal experiences, we would always want to like fit in with the group. So if the group talked about like all these movies, like, oh my gosh, I watched those movies too, but really we'd never watched those movies. So it was like we would change the way, even in how we speak. Like if someone said like if everyone like cussed in the group, we would all start.
Or dude.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Also because if it's not actually you wanting to change, then you're not actually genuinely
Changing for
changing.
yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just habits, and you can fall right back into the old habits.
Yeah, I feel like we become like chameleons sometimes, and then we like fit into this group and we fit into this group, but then we're not really being true to ourselves and, and truly to the essence that God gave us. And that's, I think that what we really have to search is for that essence and that identity of children of God, which is what makes us who we are.
What do you think creates that lasting change though? Like, how do you sustain that?
I think when you truly hit rock bottom is when you make that, decision of just truly wanting to change, because sometimes we change and like we were saying, maybe it could be temporary, maybe it could be just for a while, but then we go back to our old habits just because we haven't really hit that bottom that we need to hit in order to make that, change last.
To realize that we have to change.
Right.
Because we can't live like that anymore.
Exactly.
And we don't want to go back.
Many times we try to change like what's in the outside and then somehow make it like, maybe if I wear this, it'll make me look more cool. Or like maybe if I wear these shoes, like people will accept me and that like fills my own heart. So it's like we believe that we're changing. And I believe like from personal experiences also, and I think we all can relate to, we've all tried to change something in the outside to change something in the inside.
Yeah. And it's the opposite.
Yeah. And people like don't like see it that way.
Yeah.
What about when someone like changes for like 3 years? It's not like 3 months, like, and then all of a sudden they have a relapse. Like, what do you think triggers that?
I think also in that aspect, I think comes into play being accountable and keeping accountability, because I think what makes us relapse or go back to our old habits can be not being accountable. We lose accountability, we lose that group of friends that, was with us through this change. Then, we start going back to our old habits because we don't talk about the things we do anymore to anybody, or, and that kind of makes us take steps back.
If you pretend you're okay.
Right.
To convince everybody that everything's fine. And you're actually like just
Dying inside.
dying.
You're wearing a mask
Yeah.
everywhere you go.
Exactly.
It's also here like we say that you take 3 steps forward, but then you take 4 steps back. It's like you did all this change for like 3 months and like somehow you relapse and it's like, oh my gosh, like you take it all upon yourself, and like what happened to like all that change that you did, it was worth nothing. Like the person inside think it
Feels
was
like
worth
that,
nothing.
right.
Like here we would say we did 25 weeks of a whole process and then we relapse and then we feel like it worked for nothing. But it was really something inside ourselves that we never, like that little speck that we didn't either forgive someone or we didn't like process it with God. It's what takes us back. Like that little rock can make like the biggest wave. Like skipping this little rock,
pebble in your shoe
like
when you're trying to climb the
it can be the worst.
Yeah.
I also believe that we try to change people. Like something that they have that's wrong with us. Like, do you get that?
100%.
Let's say for me, like I had friends that it was like, no, like they're such bad people and they used to treat me bad and they used to like
But it's
exclude
like a
me.
reflection.
But then I'm like, oh no, like that's not me. Like that's the person over there. But it was really the reflection of someone that I wanted to change that they
Like
just
what
didn't do it.
bothers us of other
Yeah.
people is really what we need to change in ourselves.
Within us.
A lot, a lot of times that happens.
I believe that. I believe that we're mirrors.
Yeah.
So if like you're not treating me in a friendly way, it's probably something that's inside me that I haven't changed or dealt with. When you realize that, then you can treat it, you can process it, and then you can begin to change it.
Yeah.
Instead of just judging everybody,
Right.
which just makes everything worse for you.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't really need like this huge crisis moment or like this huge thing in our lives to make us want to change. Sometimes we just, for example, for me, I grew up Christian, I was always in church, and I was never really in this humongous, crisis with something that I knew that I needed to change, because if not, I was gonna go down this horrible path. But I knew that something within me needed more, and I needed more of Jesus and I needed more of God. And that's, when I decided to take the step into doing this whole process and I forgave and, really put my heart in it. I knew that I needed to be this better person because, like I was saying, that was the essence that God had for me. And as a child of God, I wanted to, pursue the purpose that He had in store for me. So it doesn't really mean that just because, you're not living a horrible life or like you're not in this horrible place doesn't mean you can't want to change.
Yeah. For me, it was the complete opposite. It was literally like being raised in the world, partying, drinking alcohol from 16 to 27, and then hitting that literally rock bottom where I just wanted to kill myself and end my life, and just saying like, literally, you would invite me to a church or whatever. I was like, dude, get away from me. Like, I'm not going there. God told me, I heard His voice say, I gave you an opportunity at 17 and 27. I love you. Like, I'm waiting for you to hug you. I decided at 27 to begin to change. And then I understood that it was a lifelong journey. What shifted my perspective was gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
When you're grateful, that really changes everything the way you see it.
Yeah.
So it's like you're changing your thoughts and your perspective, and then everything else just starts to bloom and change and like just come to life pretty much.
Yeah, and like the change starts within. Like even if we want to change someone else, like we can't change someone else because that's like their property. Like you are you and I am me.
It's a waste of time to try to change anybody.
Yeah, like I wasted my time many years trying to change people. For someone else to see the change, they have to see it in someone else. So like you have to start the change. Like if I want to change my sisters, they should see like the change in someone else and then be like, wow, I want that. For example,
be the example. Be the
yeah. You go buy a product and you're like, oh, like I don't know if that works. A shampoo, like I see someone wearing the shampoo and it's like, wow, it really works. So if you want that person to change and like come into Christianity and like how we're living in now, that person needs to see the effect of what is happening, because if not, it's not. They see it as it's a not true change, but it's really something that starts within that we have to change first.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
You're saying you love my shampoo?
Yes.
We all want your hair, Gabe. Everyone wants your hair.
All those hair products.
Oh my God.
Trying to change other people is just frustrating. And because they don't do what you want them to do, it's almost like they hurt you more. Because you set up these expectations. And then you're like, wow, people will always just like, they'll never be the way I need them to be. They'll never be there for me. And nobody can change. I'm trying to change this person and nothing. There are no results.
Yeah, you'll end up frustrated forever. And also, it's what you said, expectation. I learned something, which is when you change your expectations for appreciations, it's a part of gratitude, but when you change, I expect Juanpis to call me back. You know, when you expect someone to do anything, you're gonna let yourself down. So if you expect this person to change and they don't, then you're like, oh man, now what do I do?
Like if I expect a lot from Dani in our friendship and I want her to bring me food every day and I want her to give me money every day, that's something that I want her to change. And it's something that's also bad because we put such high expectations and it starts harming us. Like it starts changing. We expect to change them, but that person, she's chilling. She's in her work, in her job. She's feeding herself. She has her own money.
She feels great.
But the only one that's suffering is me.
Exactly.
Waiting for my money, waiting for the day that she's going to give me food, waiting for the day that she's going to give me her appreciation. It's something that, like, I've seen a lot happen, and it's like people expect a lot from someone, and they just end up changing themselves into something bad. Like,
You let me down.
They let me down.
yeah, you let me
Pretty much,
down.
you let me down.
And I start
and
thinking
that
bad
starts
things
changing
about
you
me.
and your own personality because like, oh, the world sucks, people suck, and start making all these things.
Judgments, you start
terrible.
throwing judgments up.
And I think it's also like being grateful for who you are. Like, I don't expect you to change. I'm just gonna love you and I'm gonna meet you wherever you're at, you know?
And that's what you said. It's a change expectation for appreciation. That's very
I
important.
appreciate you. You're on the 40-yard line. I'm gonna meet you at the 40-yard line. You're at the 10-yard line. I'm gonna meet you at the 10. Like, I'm not gonna
Learn to appreciate everyone for who they are and for
where
they're at
in life. Like, someone's a believer, someone's not a believer. Like, just love on them and don't, you know, just love them for who they are. Don't expect them to change because they might never change, and that's okay.
Okay, guys. Well, that was awesome. I loved our talk. Thank you guys for opening your hearts, for sharing all of your perspectives, and, you know, having this real talk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you
for
guys.
having us.
I love you guys a lot.
We love
too.
you.
We love you all. That was a really good talk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hope y'all really loved that episode of Let's Talk. Go ahead and comment, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. If there's anything specifically that you'd like for us to talk about in the future, just go ahead and comment below. Share it with your friends and let us know what exactly was it that you could relate to. We love you guys. We're going to continue to bring it to the table, and God bless you.